Hi guys, welcome to my channel in our world. Today we are going to discuss about a GATE Aerospace syllabus. So let's focus on the GATE Aerospace syllabus. We have a 6 sector. The first one is engineering mathematics, then aerodynamics, then flight mechanics, structure, propulsion, and space dynamics. Let's now focus each topic. Now here I'm gonna tell you among the 6 sectors which in each sector which one you have to study and focus. Now first go to the engineering mathematics. First comes a linear algebra. In linear algebra you have to study about the matrix algebra. It's compulsory. Definitely one question will be there from matrix and the rank of matrix. It's very important, the rank of a matrix. Then comes a eigenvalue and eigenvector. These two are very important. You can definitely find 1 or 2 questions, or out of 100 marks you can expect 5 marks from this linear algebra question. And of course you have to focus on a property of a matrix. Next comes a calculus. In calculus you have to be concept about limits, continuity, and differentiability, and maxima minima comes, and maxima minima, then gradient, divergence, and curl vector. These are the very much compulsory questions, and definitely you can find 2 marks from this calculus. It's compulsory. Then comes differential equations. This is also an important topic. It's a compulsory topic. Definitely around 5 marks will be there from out of 100, so you can click and study those things, that is ordinary differential equation with constant coefficients and the boundary value problems. It's, and apart from that you can study Laplace transformation. It's fully based on a formulae, you know that, and formulae. And last, the topic is numerical methods. In numerical methods you have to study those all those trapezoidal and Simpson rule, how it's working, and that is a linear form and non-linear form. It's not so compulsory, but you can leave, or if you want to score a good marks, of course you can attempt this. And here comes, these are the books which you can follow these books for your mathematics references. Next comes aerodynamics. Here first syllabus, continuity, momentum equation. These are the important equation. What are the assumptions of this equation is very important. And comes a basic flow. In basic flow comes and the elementary flows, that kind of uniform flow, vortex flow, doublets flow, source and sink flow, etc. These are the flows, and its combination of its flow, it's very important. Definitely around 10 marks will be asked from this topic, and it's very important. Either problems or basic concept formulae as very important. This topic is very important. You can see it's described in bold later. And the concept of incompressible irrotational flow is also very important. As you can see here, what are the mathematical descriptions of incompressible and irrotational flow, whether it is used in 3D or 2D flow, etc, and how they are related with each type of flow, how they interrelated with the universe of the fluid. This entire concept should be clear about this incompressible and irrotational flow. Next comes those theorems. These theorems are all the theorems are very important. You should study the theorem, its condition, its formula. Sometimes they might ask for 1 mark, so why to lose one single mark? So better you focus and memorize these theorems. Whether these theorems are applied in 2D or 3D, that is also you need to focus. Next comes on very important topic, comes on boundary layer on flat plate. This boundary layer of a flat plate is a very vast topic. It's either can cover a boundary layer separation, viscosity, turbulence flow, etc. So you need to study this boundary layer of a plate, of a laminar as well as a turbulent, how they are interrelated. This is a very important topic. You better don't skip it. You must focus more on this topic. Next comes next comes airfoil and its beam. In airfoil and its spin, here you have to be very much nomenclature of airfoil, what are the things and characteristic equations, very important. That is how the cl cd and the coefficient of moment depends on each factor. Then in addition it comes that about center of pressure, aerodynamic center, how they interrelated. And when it comes on airfoil, it is also important whether symmetric and the camber, how they are interrelated. Next comes a high lifting device. In high lifting device, we know flaps. There's lot of flaps, and what are the characteristics of lift it takes place? What are the function and this with the flap, with the slat and without slat, with slot and slat combination, how it's acting? It is an important conceptual questions can arrive from this high lifting device. Next comes a theorem. Already I've said it's a very important topic of theorem. You have to memorize a theorem, and always you have to memorize a theorem with a basic conceptual aspect, like whether it is applicable for in 2D or 3D. Next comes airfoil theory. It comes under this airfoil wing theory is important. Then induced drag concept, like what is the formula of induced drag, what are the factors which can decrease the drag or induced drag, and so. Then comes a aspect ratio. They have to memorize the formula of aspect ratio, how to find out for each aspect ratio, that is if it is high, if it is mid, if it is low. So what is the formula for each aspect ratio of various wing sectors? It's a very important topic, that is aspect ratio. And if low aspect ratio, what is the application of aspect ratio, what is the application of high aspect ratio, where it is being used. So that is also very important, the application. Next comes viscous flow. Already have said it's a very important topic, that is flow, suppression, boundary layer, all are interrelated. You better focus more on this topic. Definitely around 10 marks has been asked every time from this topic alone. It's this is a common topic. If you go to the propulsion syllabus, both are a common topic in boundary layer. Then comes a compressible flow. It's a very important topic as per aerodynamics. So you can see I have highlighted in bold letter, that is a normal and normal shock and oblique shock. So when the normal shock wave takes place and when the oblique shock wave takes place, that is an important concept. And what is the property changes after the shock wave, that is another important question. Every time they're asking this question, so better you focus on the properties after and behind the shock wave for normal as well as oblique. Not only that, you have to also focus on the expansion shock wave, what are the characteristics happening, how the nature of a flow. Then comes a CD nozzle. What is the characteristics of CD nozzle? What is the area relation, area Mach number relation, area velocity Mach number relation? You have to study what are the characteristics, property after the of pressure characteristic in the nozzle at the exit condition. That is also important concept. Then comes a diffuser, is also an important topic. Then comes an important topic is a critical Mach number and drag divergence Mach number. Every time they're asking this question, you better focus on the figure. You try to understand the figure, that how they're asking this question on a critical Mach number. Then comes a wind tunnel testing. There is a measurements of wind tunnel, that is a formula, how what are types of wind tunnel you have to study, then how they are calculating the velocity across a test section and the nozzle section you have to study. Then the flow visualization technique, there are around 3 flow visualization technique you have to study, how they interrelated, what is the difference between all the 3 techniques. Comes books of aerodynamics syllabus that can be covered, or it can be helpful to refer all those criteria or all those syllabus, and you can find the concept behind this all those syllabus. Now next comes a flight mechanics. At around 30% of a question comes from flight mechanics. Let's focus on the syllabus. Here, first comes the atmosphere. In the atmosphere, you have to study the properties of atmosphere, and then comes the stages of atmosphere. It comes from the troposphere, stratosphere, and etc. goes on. So those kind of what are the limitations of the heights, you have to study that. And then comes a property and the formula. If it is isothermal, if it is a gradient layer, we have to study that. Then comes a classification of aircraft, how the aircraft is classified: heavier than air aircraft and lighter than aircraft. And under the category, what are the things comes under the category of heavier than aircraft and the lighter than aircraft, you have to study. Maybe some questions might ask from there. And the configurations and various part, what are the functions of an aircraft. In 2018 they have asked a very basic question from around 2 marks. They have asked from this basic category of airplane configuration, how the aileron works, how the rudder works, how the elevator works, what are the functions and all. Like, you have to be in, go through of the basic things. Then comes the uh, airplane performance. That in airplane performance, there's you should understand and study in this factor. That is what is mean by pressure, altitude, how this IAS are related. Then equivalent, calibrated, and indicated airspeed and its formula, and where it is applicable, when, at what condition equivalent airspeed is used and calibrated airspeed is used and indicated airspeed being used, and its application and formula are very important. Then comes a altimeter. What is the location of a altimeter and how it is operated and what its function. These are the primary instruments. Its position, function, and working principle are very important. Then comes a drag polar. Definitely a question will be there in drag polar equation. You know the basic equation of a drag polar and a characteristic property, graphical representation. And in drag polar you'll be having basic two conditions, that is a minimum drag condition and the minimum power requirement condition. So in each cases, what are the formula, how the velocities are related to with each other. You better refer to Aircraft Performance by Jerry Anderson for this topic. Then comes takeoff and landing. Here, this takeoff and landing is a very simple topic. They don't ask a very bright questions or very expanded formulas. They just ask a basic concept about takeoff and landing, how the takeoff takes place, what the landing takes place, what is the distance of this takeoff and landing, and what are the factors required for takeoff and landing. They just ask those kind of questions. They don't ask any huge questions. Then comes an absolute and service ceiling. They ask a basic question: what is the difference between absolute and serving ceiling? If you know that well, you can attend it. So you better focus on the absolute ceiling and service ceiling in depth. Then comes our important topic, our range and endurance. Since range and endurance, you know that definition. And for range and endurance, we will be studying for two factors, that is jet engine and a propeller engine. And jet engine and propeller engine, there will be having a formula. You better focus on the formula, and you see there will be a CL by CD is changing. One in one cases CL by CD will be there, and one another cases CL 1 by 2 by CD will be there, and another cases CL 3 by 2 by CD will be there. So what cases, what is, which is a formula of a CL by CD ratio, that is very important. Next comes a load factor. This load factor is another important when it comes on maneuvering of an aircraft. So maneuvering of an aircraft, is turning, flight, or pull up, pull down conditions. What are the formulae? What is turn rate, etc. You have to focus. And Venn diagram, you know about well about Venn diagram. They don't ask much question, but you have a little concept over the Venn diagram. Then comes wind. Okay, then here we have a headwind, tailwind, and crosswind. So you have to know what are the basic function of the winds, what are the advantages of this wind and which wind, how to find the ground velocity of a wind of an aircraft, what's the advantage over headwind when it is being required. Then similarly as a tailwind and the crosswind. Next comes static stability, or rather I can say stability topic. This is a very important topic. They most of the time they ask questions from here, problems they ask, you should have a overall basic concept, a detailed concept in this topic, about longitudinal stick fixed and stick free stability. What is the, you should understand what is stick fixed and stick free stability or condition, what are things happening in stick fixed and stick free condition. You have to study detail about it, the expression. You better follow a Nelson book for this topic. And then comes a directional stability is important. Then dihedral stability, what is meant by dihedral, what are the advantages of dihedral, and swept and its position of a wing, it's very important. Next comes dynamic stability. In dynamic stability, I will tell you, especially we have a ample of things, but you better focus on the longitudinal modes, lateral directional modes. So in this mode, you can find a lot of stars and lot of formulae. They ask problems based on this every time, and it's very easy to study and also to score. You better focus on Nelson book for these topics. And longitudinal modes, you can find there's Foucault mode and the short period mode, and you should know that what are the basic difference between these two modes. And then comes a lateral directional mode. Here comes a roll, spiral, and Dutch roll. And what is its function, and what is the advantages, disadvantage, how the frequency changes, what's the damping takes place, and which one is a complex, which one is simple, and which input is being given, and the formula. This around this few things can, you can, if you if you well known about it, you can definitely attempt this question, and it's a very easy one. Here comes the books of to refer for your flight mechanics. Yeah, the last one you can see, this aircraft performance stability and control by Perkins is also an important for stability. Next comes structure. Around 15% questions they ask from structure. Here comes the first topic, that is stress, strain. You know what is stress, what is strain, how they're working to each other, Young's modulus, and etc. etc. Everything they ask, when two materials are combined with each other, and when we give a force, apply the force, how they work each other, and that the things they ask in a stress strain. Then Hooke's law, you know the Hooke's law, and how the curves goes between the stress and the strain in various material, ductile material, brittle material, and so you have to study those. And next important topic is a Moore cycle. In Moore cycle, what they ask is like, it's a very important topic. You have to memorize a formula, you have to memorize a formula, and of course, the how the thing enter concept, you have to focus on the Moore cycle related. You better follow strength of material book, RK Rajput. Okay, then just before that, it comes plane stress and strain is, and it's of how, what is the definition of plane stress and strain, what's the formula is based on that. And then added stress function is a very important topic. You can every year you can find this topic either as a problem or as 2 marks. You better focus on this topic, added stress function. Next comes a flight vehicle structure. You can see the characteristics of aircraft structures and material. Here, you know, since you will be writing this GATE exam in the final year, obviously you will be having a nice idea about the characteristics of basic characteristics and the material. Then comes a torsion bending, and torsion bending already we will be studying in second year of your academics. So you have to focus on those topic, each individual chapter you have to study. Then comes a buckling or a column. This buckling and column is an individual chapter is there. You have to focus all the four end conditions of a column. That is very important. and then determinant and indeterminate structure of stress and beam. This is also an important topic. They hardly ask this kind of question, but you better focus on the truss and beam. Then comes a failure theory. This failure theory is very, very important. We have five failure theories, and in the five failure theories you have to focus who is the scientist name, and what is where this failure theory is applicable, what is a formula, and of course the statement of a theory. Failure theory is very important. Then comes a structural dynamics. Here in structural dynamics you can see a free and forced vibration. In free and forced vibration you have to study what do you mean by vibration, what are the types of vibration, then what is meant by free and what is meant by forced vibrations, and damping ratios, etc, etc. You better focus theory of vibration by VP Singh. Here comes the book, or you can rather refer the textbook of Strength of Material, R.K. Bansal. These are the books for your reference. Now comes the propulsion. Here's the first sector. You can see a thermodynamics of aircraft gas turbine engine. Here you have around three basic gas turbine engine: turbojet, turboprop, and turbofan. How they're interrelated, and especially in turbofan, you have to focus a formula based on a bypass ratio. And these three categories, how they are related with the thrust, efficiency, and performance, and its characteristics. Then comes a thrust augmentation and its formulae, it's very important. Then Ramjet Scamjet, what is a formula, it's very important, and the thermodynamic cycle. Next comes a heat transfer and thermochemistry. This thermochemistry is very, very important, like how the fuel and oxidizer are reacted, and what is the when a fuel and oxidizer or oxygen or air is related, what is a reaction and what is a product, what is a endothermic reaction, exothermic reaction, and what is the air fuel ratio of an stoichiometric and equivalence ratio. It comes under this topic thermochemistry. It's a very important topic. Every year they're asking the questions from thermochemistry. And heat transfer, this three types of heat transfer and its formulae, a basic concept about heat transfer, or how the boundary layer heat transfer are related, and what are the important factors they consider in heat transfer. Next comes a turbine machinery. It's very, very important and very easy topic. They ask a problematic question from this topic, and the questions they ask, there is no negative marking. If you see there is no options, you can simply come to a conclusion that there is no negative marking. If you know velocity triangle, if you know the formulae, and using those two concepts, there's a figure and a formula, you can simply solve a problem on axial compressor, axial turbine, and a centrifugal compressor, and its efficiency formula is very important for all the compressors and turbine. Next comes the aerothermodynamics of non-rotating propulsion components like intake, combustor, and nozzle. And already you have studied about nozzle in aerodynamics. It's also an important topic, very, very important topic. It's a compulsory topic. They ask a problem based on nozzle, or a basic concept about a nozzle, that is a nozzle, like optimum pressure, over expanded nozzle, under expanded nozzle, how they interrelated, and in conditions of a nozzle. Then comes elements of rocket propulsion. This is a very vast topic. In the syllabus they have written in a very simple manner, that is elements of rocket propulsion. So in this rocket propulsion you have to study about entire rocket propulsion system. There is a separate book of elements of rocket propulsion by Saturn. You better focus on that book. In that book you can refer, that is a chemical propulsion, comes on liquid, hybrid, and solid propellant, and the electric propellant. You can better focus on these factors, then you can definitely can answer. And with formulae, it's very important concept and formulae. Here comes the books of the things you can refer for propulsion. This veganation that will be help you for this turbine problem, turbine and compressor problems, and also that first point, that is turbojet problems, etc. There's another book here, this gas turbine theory. It also will be helpful for this compressor and turbine problems. Next is comes like I've said, elements of rocket propulsion. This will be helpful for you. And there's another book, the elements of gas turbine propulsion, that will also be helpful for overall understanding of your subject. Here comes the space dynamics. It's a very rare topic, and in 2018, as per survey, it has been found that around 10% of question has come from space dynamics. But if you refer to the previous years, they have not asked that much in them. They ask around 2% of questions from space dynamics, but last time they have asked around 10% of question from here. But this is a very simple topic if you see the syllabus, but it's very conceptual. You should have a clear understanding of the subject. Let's focus on the syllabus, that is central force motion, then determination of trajectory and orbital period in simple cases, an important topic, orbital periods in all the cases. Then comes orbit transfer. There is a lot of orbit transfer, how the orbit is transferring from one orbit to another orbit, what are the factors and formula, how much energy required, and etc. And in plane out plane is a very rare topic. You can study that topic, but if you focus on this orbital periods and orbit transfer, you can almost answer the question of space dynamics. Next comes elements of rocket motor performance. Here they ask and multi-stage of rocket. Here in this topic, elements of rocket motor performance and multi-staging of rockets, here they ask problems about a multi-staging of rocket. What are the components of the structural propellant and etc. They ask about it. What is a mass ratio of a rocket? That's an important topic. Here comes the books. These are the books you can refer, that is rocket propulsion and space dynamics. Either you can find online or you can purchase from Flipkart. Orbits and celestial mechanism. This book is very useful for understanding. You can I will suggest you to refer this book. Then introduction to space dynamics. This will also cover you the entire thing. And elements of rocket propulsion, again this book I'm telling you for multi-staging of an aircraft. So I hope this syllabus will be useful for you, and thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you have further inquiry, you can contact me in 9489224114 ah@gmail.com. Have a good day. Bye.